Alright, so today's race recap is going to be the men's 3,000 meters at this year's Levin, France track and field meet. So they're going to be going for the world record, which is 7:24.9, set by Daniel Komen 25 years ago. Let's get into the footage. Alright, so as the gun's about to go off here, there's the gun there. So you can see that little yellow light that's on the rail there. That's the world record pace. That's the pace they need to be at to get the world record. Now, there's two pacers in this race, one being Eric Zawinski, and the other one, I don't even know how to pronounce their name, but they're in first right now, and they're leading out the race. And, yeah, they're going for a world record here. Like I said, 7:24.9 is the world record. So it's about 59 per lap, just a little slower than that. And you can also see on the left side, it says what pace they're going. So they're going 7:17. So now they're kind of approaching that part in the race where they're getting dialed in and their adrenaline's gone. They're right around 300 meters. That's where you kind of like get settled in. The first 200 meters are gone. The little getting out in your position is done. Like you're in your position. The race is strung out pretty good. And now you're just running, right? So out of all the events in track and field, the 3K and 1500 type they're like the middle of all the track and field events, right? 100 and marathon are on both ends of the spectrum, and as you go down and you figure out the middle, it's pretty much the 3K, right? The 3K is a mix of speed and endurance, and that's why many people think it's one of the most painful events in track and field, is because you have half speed and half endurance, right? So when you combine that for like around a 10-minute period for a lot of people, whether 10, 12, for these guys, 7 minutes and 20 seconds, right? Yeah, the 3K is a balance, like I said, of speed and endurance. So that's why it's so painful. You always have lactic acid there. You're never just relying on your speed. So like I said, there's lactic acid because it's an endurance race. And when you're on an indoor track and you got to run 15 laps, it feels like it's taking forever. And I had to skip the last 30 seconds of the race just because it was a pole vault section, so I didn't really want to have you guys watch that. We're trying to watch a 3K here. All right, they're approaching the K here, 2:28.49, right? So it's pretty quick. They're on 7:26.5 pace, and they're settled in. Now, these guys can run that pace for about a 3K, right? So this isn't really hard. It's not really easy. When you're K into the 3K, it's like a mile into a 5K. You're feeling okay, but now this is where it starts to get tough, right? Now the mental game is happening. Half your mind is telling you to quit, and the other half is like, go, go, go. You can do it, right? Now they just keep clicking off 30-second laps here, 29, 30-second laps. The pacing is just perfection. Like, these guys are so good at pacing, they can hit it to almost the 10th or the quarter second. Now, they were showing the pole vault again. I decided to skip the last 20 seconds of the race if you wonder why the clock is kind of going here and there a lot. Either way, they're around, they're just hitting 1,500 meters here, around 3 minutes, 42 seconds there. So if you double that, right, you're 3 seconds under 7:30 pace, right? So you double that, you're exactly at 7:24 pace. You're exactly on world record pace. You're exactly where you need to be, right? So when you're halfway through a 3K and you're right on pace, you're feeling good. Now this is where it gets hard. When you're around 1 mile to 2,400, right? That 3/4 in the race, right? 2/3. That section in the race is always so hard. The lactic acid is there. The kick hasn't started yet, so you just have to will yourself to around 2,400, 2,600, and then you'll get 400, 600 to go, and you're feeling good by then because if you're still on pace, you have a kick, and the mental game is gone, and you just, whatever you have left, you just sprint, right? So you're approaching so they just came through 1,800 meters, just under 4:30, so they're staying on their pace, but they're slowing down a little bit. They need to pick it up a little bit if they want to get that 7:24. You can see the pace, 7:26. They're speeding up now. They were literally just at 7:29 pace. Now they're at 7:25. They realized that quickly. Girma realized he needs to pick it up. He wants the world record. Katir in second, and Katir's a great runner. He got third in the 5K this year. Third in the 1,500 this year at the World Championships 2022 in Oregon. So they approach 2K 4:58, right? So they just ran 2:30. They're going a little too slow, and they need to pick it up, right? You're only 2 seconds ahead of 7:30 pace. You're already 2/3 through the race, right? You need to get probably a 2:26 if you want to get the world record, which is a lot to ask when you just ran a 2:28 and a 2:30 for the K. Now you got to go around 2:26, right? So you're approaching with 800 to go. You're around 5:27 there. They started 28.9. They speeded it up a little, right? They need to keep doing that if they're going to get the world record, right? If they can cut a second per lap, they can get the world record, right? If they run 4:29s, they can do it. Right, you can see that pace on the left, 7:23, 7:24. They're picking it up a little. The kick has started. Now, like I say earlier, the kick starts 600 meters out. For most races, 3K might be 800 to 600. But the really good distance runners start their kicks anywhere from 400 to 800 meters to go in a 3K. And they slowly wind it up. And then by the last 100, 200 meters, they're dead sprinting. I mean, you can see they're working hard. They only have 500 meters to go. And this is like the most painful part in a 3K because, 500 to go. And you're like, I have 500 meters to go. I have over 2 laps. And 7:25 with 400 to go. They just have to run a 59. Can they do it, right? They just clocked in at 28.9. They just did 2 28.9s in a row. I mean, that's crazy. These guys can pace insanely well. 300 to go. 6:40, right? They're 5 seconds ahead of 7:30 pace. They're exactly on world record pace there. You can see that light there. They're just ahead of it, right? They've pulled ahead of world record pace before. They were a little behind. Now, the bell lap, 6:54. All they have to do is run a 30:29 high, right? That's all they have to do. Now, when you're in a world record, there's barely any kick for anyone. I mean, they're going a little faster than they were in the middle, but it's not a huge kick. They're not closing in any 54, 55, right? World record scenario, there's not a big kick. All right, let's see what they can do. 7:24 is the world record. 7:19, 20, 7:21, 7:22, 7:23 high, 7:23.81. Katir also breaks the world record. 2 people under the world record. Last K 2:25.43. Insanely great time. He's just on the ground, can't even get up, trying to hand the flowers to him there. And yeah, the flowers there, they always try to hand those flowers out at the end. And he's just like on the ground. And they're like, take the flowers, take the flowers. Either way, great race. New world record. This world record has been standing for 25 years by Daniel Komen. And make sure to drop a like and subscribe for more content.